tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Kaufmann. Now, let the buzz begin!
Woo. Hey guys! Welcome to Season 7, Episode 7 of Modern Family. It's called Queer Eyes, Full Hearts. My name is Jessie Owen, and I'm your host for the evening. And joining me are my co-hosts. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Steve Kaufmann, sounding a lot better than I did Monday on the Gotham podcast, which is audible.
Hi everyone, I'm Carli Garsow. And I'm Britta Garsow. Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Did y'all like the episode?
I loved it.
This is a lot of fun.
Really funny.
I thought they really stepped up on their funny game tonight.
I think so too.
They had a lot of good jokes. All right, guys, let's get started. Our first topic is Ann Gibbs and the segment of openly gay high school football coach.
Over homeless people being paid a near slave wage.
Yeah, he said $1 an hour.
$1 an hour.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's why they're homeless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were probably already homeless.
Yeah.
And then a major company that could probably afford to pay them more exploited them.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what. It sounds like the kind of case that we should be talking about that we don't.
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Do you feel like that was one of my questions? Do you feel like Cam stole Mitch's thunder right there?
I don't think so, because I think Ann was the one that was leaning towards Cam. Like, Mitch was talking about his case and whatnot, but Cam wasn't really talking about himself. It was her, like, provoking him, like, kept asking him about, oh, so you're an openly gay coach. And he wasn't really asking to be, like, the center of attention. So I don't really think that Cam stole Mitchell's thunder. I think it was just Ann's vision was different than Mitchell's.
Right. I feel like Cam had some influence over, like, hey, if you want to do a story on me first, could you do a story on, my husband's, like, what would it be called? Not a charity, but case.
Yeah, his case. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That would be good. But, like, all in all, like, she just came out of the woodwork, like, oh my God, you're amazing. Yeah. I should totally do a story about you. And he's like, well, absolutely you should.
Yeah,
and then that's all he saw.
Yeah, and I kind of think that even if Cam wasn't there, she wouldn't have been interested in Mitchell's story because she didn't seem very interested. So I don't think that she would have really done anything for it anyways. So
I kind of thought she was a little interested.
I thought she was too. Oh, really?
Like, I think that there could have been a story, but then whenever Cam was like, oh, I'm a high school football coach and this is my husband, she's like, oh, really? Okay.
I think the only thing that Cam did that, like, was a little bit, like, bad, like, rude to Mitchell was the whole pancake breakfast. How Mitchell was the only one cooking the pancakes, and he didn't even want to do it in the first place, but was trying just to help Cam out to look good for his segment. And Cam didn't really seem very appreciative at all the work he had put into it. So I felt bad for him in that sense, but I don't think that he, like, stole the thunder on purpose.
Right. It's funny because it was so cliche. Like, it showed with Lily and then it showed it with Mitch, how, you've got the crying baby on your hip and you're, like, all in a bad mood. And, like, they portray women as, like, anytime there's crying babies or they have kids that they're so stressed out and they're just, like, angry all the time. I think it's really funny how they portray women like that.
You guys aren't? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, crying babies make me, like, tense, so I get it.
Yeah, me too. That's...
And trust me, I was a bad babysitter. I sorry, Whitney, but I used to watch her kid and, like, it would cry. But in my defense, I was, like, 19, and I would just, like, leave it there. Just let it sit there and cry. And I would sit there and cry in the hallway and call her and be like, you have to go get your kid. Like, it will not
it's
stop.
Stressful. Babies are stressful.
It is very stressful. So...
Yeah. Just the idea, speaking as a single male, you guys mentioned baby. I tensed up a little.
I get tense
oh my God.
too. Like, I never want kids.
Never?
No,
What?
never.
Wow.
You know.
I mean, one day, like, I want mine, like, right at the limit where it's, like, cut off, or you could possibly not ever have a kid. You know, like that kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
We'll wait till then.
35 if I've been married for 3 years. That's my plan.
Okay. Good age.
Because I want to be married for a long time.
I always said that too.
Yeah, that's why I think that, like, this sounds really harsh, but I think that children tend to ruin a lot of marriages. And I think that's why the divorce rate is so high. Because people that get married and then have babies right away and don't concentrate on their marriage so much. And I think that...
Well, I think it's people that might not necessarily like each other.
Yeah.
Like, longevity-wise, they get married and then immediately have a kid, where it's like,
That's true.
I don't know. I want to enjoy being married for a long time.
Yeah, that's good.
Great decision. And Mitch and Cam were together for a long time before they
even got married. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was...
Well, yeah, but I meant
legally.
like together, like
Before
basically.
legally, but like they were together a long time before they adopted a child. The same idea that it should come from, like, I feel like it should come from a place, like a child should come from a place where, like, no, that's mom and dad. They've been together, or mom and mom, or dad and dad.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's like
they've been together for 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of them being married, when they introduced themselves, he was like, I'm Cameron Tucker, I'm Mitchell Pritchett. Like, okay, this might be a dumb question, rag me later on YouTube.
Oh, they will.
Okay, do they not, do gay male couples that get married not ever take each other's last name? Because I know my friend, when she married her wife, she actually took her last name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's the same as, like, hetero couples. Yeah, I think it's just all
a decision.
Yeah,
it's always a decision.
We don't plan on changing our last name when we get married, and just because it's just...
It's a decision. So, I think it's the same with everyone. You don't have to. So.
I plan on doing a name swap. Like, I'll take my wife's last name, and then she'll take my last name.
Okay.
But we won't have the same last name.
Or you could hyphenate it, because I've thought always about hyphenating it.
People do that.
Or you both hyphenate it.
Or have you heard of people coming up with new last names?
We
Because
learned
that's
about
fun,
it
too.
in our gender class, and a lot of people these days are just coming up with a brand new
so
last
no one
name.
has to. So it's fair. You're not both changing your name, and you still have a family name. Like, no one else in your extended family has that name, but the family you build together will have the same.
Because the thing is, people are like, oh, I don't want to change my name, or I don't want a different... Like, people change their name so that they don't have a different name than their child, And so if you come up with one together, then your child will take that name and everyone will have it. But for me, like I said, I don't want kids, so I just don't see the point in changing my name because I don't need to worry about that. But
Well, I actually had a teacher in high school who she had like 3 doctorates and then married her husband and kept her name for this mere fact of, like, I have 3 doctorates in that name.
yeah, exactly.
Love you to death.
That's a
but
good reason, though.
That's a silly thing. I'm not taking your name.
Yeah. Yeah, well, in Mitchell and Cam, I can see, especially...
I wonder what Lily's last name is.
Yeah, have they said her last name?
Is it Pritchett?
Pritchett, I think they said.
I think it is
No, they've been
Pritchett.
through this. It was I think it was the last season where they went through the adoption paperwork.
Okay.
Oh,
It
yeah.
had to be one, and they just went with Pritchett, and it was a whole thing.
Also, I mean, like, I guess for the show itself,
Oh, yes.
Pritchett would be like the
main family.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you have Jay Pritchett and
Mitchell
then,
and Claire.
yeah. Well, Claire's
Well, I guess she's a
Dunphy
Dunphy now.
Yeah.
And EDM 70-20,000 said his second cousin who married split the name and made a new one.
Okay, yeah.
I won't name the first name in case somebody wants to Google it, but Valesimion, which it sounds like it would be the combination of two names.
Okay, that's a great idea,
Yeah, like
too.
that's a great thing to do.
Yeah, so I like that Modern Family has that
I like
someone
that too.
they so far haven't changed their names because it shows that it's a decision and you can always decide.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right. All right, guys, let's move on. I'm so glad Andy's back. Let's talk about
Yes.
Andy.
Oh, he's so funny and just great character. He's so lively.
I really like him. Like, on the show, as an actor in real life, like, I really like him. He's really funny, and I think he brings a lot to the show. And I have to say, I'm sad that him and Haley aren't together.
so sad
I want them
about
to be
it.
together.
I mean, let's be real, they are together.
I know.
I think I was taken aback. I'm like, what? Like, they had kissed, and she was like, seemed so like almost in love with him, and then he finally comes back, and
He says he's still with
they're
Beth.
just friends, and he still has Beth.
But it also could be like she realized that they were kind of alike because he was kind of mean and like shot her down, and she's like, hey, you're kind of like me.
Yeah.
And those people tend to be better friends, and maybe it's her guy, like her little wingman.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think maybe what the show is doing is they want to just portray them as friends and then like grow that relationship, because it would be kind of like drastic to just put them in a relationship right now since we haven't even seen them together that much. So I think that maybe they're just gonna like take their time, having them be friends, having him around more, like with Phil.
Those two are gonna back into a relationship.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have a really good prediction. I will go ahead and say it.
Okay.
Even though it's not prediction time.
It's okay.
I predict that they're gonna grow their relationship, and they're gonna they'll end up being together, because whenever he gets ready to propose to Beth, he's gonna propose to Haley.
Wow. That's
a good one.
The single man in me also just went, whoa, but whoa. Have a relationship, move in first.
I mean,
Get a dog.
I would love that because I think they're adorable. But I just think having him on the show in general, even if they're just friends, I love it. So
I think he's a lot like Phil too, which is funny.
Yeah, he's identical to Phil, which I like that a lot, because it's oddly enough, if you want to know what a person will look like, or what a person will look like in old age, you would have to see whatever sex they are. Like, you would see my father now. And it's like, that's pretty much what Steve would look like at that age. And it's very similar, and it's a very similar thing that a lot of people tend to go towards someone who's like their opposite sex parent.
That's true.
yeah, and Haley and her dad get along so well on the show. They really do. So I could see her and Andy being happy.
Yeah.
I hope it happens.
I think it's really cool he's switching to real estate. And
Yeah, I can totally picture it.
yeah, and I have to say, I thought Phil was being serious when he was like, no. And I was like, oh, bummer.
Wow.
Because he's so nice. I was like, why?
I know. And then he was like, lesson number 1.
Never take no for an answer.
That's so funny. I like how he handles every situation and makes it fun and makes light out of everything. It makes you realize maybe we should be more like that.
I know. Everyone should be like Phil Dunphy.
And Andy, though, he's really always in a good mood. I feel like he's a light in the show when Haley can be kind of like down and...
But I have to say, I was very happy with Haley. Like, I'm glad she like stepped it up and she went in there on her job interview, and the end was hilarious.
The end was my favorite part of the whole.
I think that we've never really seen Haley be really comedic. I feel like she kind of just plays like a more dramatic version of herself. But at the end, she was so funny, and so I'm really glad we saw that side of her.
Right. How many times have you guys had a breakdown in your car?
Probably a handful, definitely.
But usually due to like car things, like traffic or...
Yeah.
Well, the majority of my life I've taken the bus. And I've had at least 4 bus breakdowns. To be fair, it's a different kind of breakdown. It's a very internal breakdown, because you don't want other people on the bus to know that you're having a breakdown. So it's just a lot of just, like, you have that realization of everything's crashing around you. And,
And then like a tear starts rolling down your face. And then you just keep going.
You pause the whatever you're playing on your iPod, and you're just like... and I think it makes it worse when you're like, oh, I'm having a moment. And I'm on a public bus. And this bus goes for an hour.
Yeah, I used to love watching people drive by, and our mom used to tell us that we used to do this when we were little and be like, I love watching cars drive by because I always wonder where they're going, and I've always had that mentality. So on a bus, you could be like, I wonder if anyone on this bus is going through something similar, or if they're having their own breakdown or their own moment, and I like thinking about things like that. Like I'm not the only one. There's a bus full of people here.
Bus breakdowns.
They're usually way worse.
Yeah.
And they seem to happen every day. Like, every time I'm on the metro, just every time, I'm just like, a guy just starts screaming for no reason.
Really?
Like, oh, yep, he's screaming.
I thought it was funny how she was screaming at the guy, go around, I'm not leaving.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
And do you know who Gavin Sinclair is? Because, I'm not really into fashion.
He's real.
I feel like they made him up.
I think he's a fictional character.
Is he?
Google will tell us.
Because he was on... Did you guys watch Ugly Betty ever? It was on ABC. Well, he was on that show, and he played Mark, and he was like a fashion guy,
I love
too.
Ugly Betty.
Yeah, and so when I saw him, like, oh, he's kind of like the same character. That's funny.
Yeah, no. There's a Gavin Sinclair who is That's his Rebirth Nation.
Okay.
He's a musical artist. I wanted to get a genre before.
Maybe it's the Hollywood TV show, like fashion person, like the Gavin Sinclair.
He's the Tim Gunn. He's the Tim Gunn of the ABC single camera sitcoms.
Because they said he's a stylist to the stars, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
They said the show.
The one who slapped Katie Kirk.
He slapped Katie Kirk. Why would you?
That's important to know.
I know.
Who?
That's funny. Last topic on Andy. Let's talk about Beth. I could have sworn that she was like, because the way he was like saying his little, like he was saying she was on a ship with a bunch of men, and like it implied that she was cheating on him, but he was like oblivious to it. And I don't know. We haven't seen Beth, so I wonder if we're gonna see Beth or.
I hope so. I'd like to see what she's like.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him like rise up above that situation and to be like, no, I'm too good for you.
Which I thought what he did.
Yeah,
and
he
then
kind of did that.
He kind of lapped back though. He's lapped back to the like, no, she's the love of my life, and it's like.
And Haley was against Beth.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
Yeah. When if
we all are as an audience, right? Can we all get behind this right now?
But now she's like for it. She's like, oh, I'm helping him pick out an engagement.
Yeah, I don't know. I was confused too. But if they bring Beth on, I hope she's a guest star of someone that's recognizable, like someone that we all know. I don't know young actresses that they could use, but I would hope it would be someone that you'd be like, oh, that's Beth. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like not someone brand new to the industry, but someone we would recognize.
Yeah, someone on a other show like that's popular.
I'm making sure she hasn't appeared on the show. I'm almost positive she hasn't.
I don't remember.
I
think he was talking about her. Maybe he had a picture though.
I don't even remember seeing a picture.
Yeah, she's like, maybe she's made up.
Maybe.
We will find out. Speaking of new people on the show, we have a new Spanish teacher, Diego.
Of course, his name's Diego.
I know.
You know, it's so funny how, because I can, you know, when Jay thought that they were like talking about them, like 'cause she was like, actually, like she was like boom, boom, but like she wanted to like shoot the squirrels, but he thought that, you know, and then he was like an old man, and like so he like got all paranoid. I thought that was really cute, and I don't know. I put, would you be jealous, like if that situation was happening to you?
If I were Jay, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the whole actions speak louder than words thing, and he literally doesn't know what they're saying. So he's just looking at their actions and kind of
And I thought he
thinking-
handled it really well, too. He didn't even say anything to Diego that was, like, rude or anything, really, when he could have and had plenty of chances. He just, like, kind of, like, talked to Gloria about it. And I don't know, but I did feel bad for her. Like, I got what she was saying. Like, she wanted Manny to learn Spanish so she could speak her own language, at least a little bit. Like, because it seems like it's already hard for her to be away from her family because she's always, like, FaceTiming them and stuff. So I think that would really make her feel like a sense of home. And so I did feel bad that Manny didn't want to learn the language.
Yeah, she made a good point when she said, how would you feel if you had to translate everything before you spoke? Like, it doesn't make you think. Like, we do, like, sit there and, like, if someone doesn't, like, say English well, you're like, what? What? Like, I'm sure it's very frustrating for them, like, to not be able to be understood. Because I know if I went to another country, I would be in the same situation.
Although I'm incredibly fluent at broken English.
Oh.
It's a very weird skill. Many summers ago, I managed a staff of about 50 people, most of whom were from various countries. Their English was very limited. It was a theme park in Wildwood, New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
And I became very good at mastering just broken English of a lot of nonverbal communication of like, yeah, I just need you over there. You over there, but like a polite point, if that's a thing.
Just not a pointing like you there.
Just like, I just need you to do that, and then, yes, that. Yes, that.
And then what was this to them?
This
Finish the task?
This was
Finish.
roll. They didn't
Roll with it.
They didn't get that far.
Roll with it.
They made fun of me in their language all the time, I'm sure.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak another language, so I give those people credit.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
that. I've always felt that way too. That whenever somebody's struggling to learn your language, it's like, well, say anything in their language.
I know, right?
And English is hard.
Yeah.
Isn't English one of the hardest languages to learn?
think so.
Yeah, one of the hardest languages to learn if you're not native.
Uh-huh.
That it's So much so that I have a lot of in high school I had a lot of immigrant friends or from immigrant families that would they would learn English first and then and they would grow up in a house where it would be Russian or another language, and like Spanish, French, all the other languages were cake. Because they already know 2 languages, so they already know English, which is the hard one, and then another language.
So it's easier for them to learn more languages after English.
Also,
that makes sense.
I lived in France for close to a month, knowing 3 words.
Oh, really?
No, what were they?
They were bonjour, and then immediately, anglais.
What's that mean?
Anglais means
you speak English?
English with a question mark.
Okay.
But you'd be surprised how far I got just by saying bonjour. I understand that I'm not going to assume you speak my language. Bonjour, hello in your language. Hey, do you speak my language?
Yeah.
Because I don't.
And did a lot of people?
Well, it was also in Cannes, France, which was a very touristy area that a lot of people spoke English, but I got a lot further than a lot of my colleagues there because I at least respected that. Like, I didn't walk up like a standard American or a standard Westerner who would just walk up and just be like, hey, I'm going to talk in this language.
Yeah, I think entitled.
Where it's like, how would you feel if someone just came up to you and just started talking in French? They're like, well, it's like, that would be strange.
Yeah.
We're not in France. We're somewhere where that's not the primary language, so you should at least try.
Yeah, what was the third word?
Pardon. So if I were in like a club or a crowded room and I would have to like get through people, I don't know, coming through or excuse me, but like, pardon.
Okay.
So I'd brush up alongside people and just be like, pardon.
Yeah, those
3
are good
words.
words. Good words.
They're 3 really important words. Anyone who travels to France.
What about thank you? Thank you would have been a good one.
Oh, I knew merci.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I knew 4 words.
I actually
Merci and
forgot
merci
that
beaucoup.
was, yeah, okay.
Everything else?
You already know more than me.
I know.
Oh my god.
Spanish
I have no
lessons or French lessons with Steve Kaufmann. Not to be confused with the Steve Kaufmann who's actually a linguist. True story. If you Google my name.
That's funny.
That's interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so back to Diego. I thought it was very uncomfortable. Like, I didn't think Gloria was as understanding, though, like, for Jay, because if she would have come home and Jay would have been in the pool with another woman or, trying to give swim lessons when she wasn't there and just doing all the family stuff that they should be doing together or could be doing together, I don't think she would have handled it. I think she would have, gone off on that girl and, made her get out, and I think it would have been a different story. I think she should have been more understanding.
Yeah, Jay is really patient with her all the time.
Yes, and that was so nice of him to learn.
Oh, yes.
So sweet. It reminds you why they're married.
Yeah,
I know.
they're adorable.
Even though he's like, I don't want to say like an old grumpy man, which he kind of is, he still has his sweet moments. Like, he does little sweet things for her, and it's so sweet.
He's going to struggle with that language so much.
Yeah.
No, I hear Spanish is really easy to learn.
Oh my gosh.
I took it all through middle school, all through high school, 2 semesters in college, and I still no clue.
Really?
No clue.
I took it 3 semesters in college because I had to, and I got B's every semester, but I seriously could not say one thing.
I've never grasped it.
Yeah, I'm not fluent in it. I can pronounce the words if you put them in front of me. And that's about as far as it goes.
I can kind of understand.
I was actually better at writing it. I
can't catch it at all. And I think it's part of the brain that just, the second somebody's saying a language that isn't yours, your brain stops trying to decipher the words.
Yeah, I almost get bored.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's difficult for me. I know they say if you learn young, it's way easier. So I almost wish I would have when I was younger.
I took German in high school, and that didn't grasp with me either.
Yeah.
But my teacher was kind of a drunk, so didn't learn much that day. All right, guys. Let's move on to Alex, unless y'all have anything else to say about Diego.
No, I don't think so.
Alex just looked real tired.
Yeah, she really didn't play a big part.
Yeah, brief storyline for her.
Like, I thought for sure on the teaser out that it was going to be Alex.
Yeah.
That it was like, because we haven't gotten any Alex or Alex, 2 hours later being perfectly normal.
Yeah.
Or after the test. I've done that before where I'll just not sleep for a test and I'll be delirious. And then once I get in for the test, I'm like, oh, I'm here. I'm here, I'm doing this.
And then you crash after.
Oh, then I totally I'll crash.
Yeah.
I'll crash wherever I can crash.
Yeah, I wanted to see her be like, oh, I think I did really good, and then like crash, and they didn't even bring it up. So
Passed it.
yeah, like she really wasn't sleeping for how many days did they say? Which seemed impossible to me, like 3 days.
Yeah,
I
like
think that's
3.
impossible.
I think it's sad that like nobody even noticed her. Like
I know.
it was like everyone was all about Haley, and they were just so astonished that she could just sit on the couch all day. It's like your other daughter who's actually working and studying, and you're not paying any attention to her.
But it turns out Haley was actually studying, like, for the interview. I think that's what she was doing.
Yeah, like he was helping. Well, I just think Andy was helping her.
But like in the opening scene where she was reading magazines, she
Yeah.
was actually studying that
for
guy's.
her interview, yeah.
And then took the headphones off, like, must be nice to be done work
Yeah.
this early.
what were they helping each other do?
I guess just study, like probably maybe quizzing each other, or like maybe Andy was asking Haley tips on how to like get in with Phil.
See, I pictured like them kind of pretending to be the interviewer,
Role
and
playing,
role
yeah.
playing, and then being like, okay, if I'm this person, like, or what are you gonna say to me, like, to get the job or whatever, kind of like that.
But they met up like a few times, so it's like, how many times can you do that? You know,
A lot.
I don't know.
Well, because then you get really nitpicky with the notes. And then like,
Yeah.
oh, well, next time I'll work on that. And then you just keep doing it. And I mean, if you already have the interview scheduled, or my theory is that neither of them, like she didn't have an interview scheduled and she was just doing the work and finding a way to get scheduled for the interview. But yeah.
Yeah, true.
Also, a
be
friend in the
with you.
chat says Alex needs a boyfriend. I agree.
Yes, the
And then-
neighbor guy.
And then Alex is like Meg from Family Guy.
Never watched Family Guy.
She
Yeah.
kind of is, but
Not as bad. Like
Yeah.
the Meg and Family Guy is
pretty awful.
pretty much there to just be treated poorly.
But I love it. I love it. One question I did have about Haley and Andy was, would you be open, like, with your mom about your sex life if you were just, like, casually having sex with a guy?
No, she was super
Yeah,
open. That was
It was very
weird.
awkward.
Yeah.
And for her, like, she's not even 21 yet, is she?
no,
In the
she's
show,
20.
she's 20,
when
yeah.
they said.
So that's weird to me. Like, I mean, even if you are, I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just saying that, I mean, if I was like 25, I could talk to my mom about that.
I'm 25. I can't
But-
talk to my mom about that.
I mean,
It's-
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when you're 21, you don't talk about that kind of
Yeah,
like,
and she's still living at
not even
home.
21.
But I think-
Yeah, you're still,
Still living
at
at home.
So
I think
that-
that was.
I wouldn't want my mom to think I was like having sex at my house.
Yeah,
In
like
the
her home
basement.
that she
Right.
like owned. Yeah, I know. I
Right.
thought that was odd. It was kind of out of nowhere, and Claire didn't say anything. She was just like, oh.
Well, that was actually a smart play by that's the one response I can give where she'll be completely stunned and have no follow-up questions.
I don't know. My mom would
'Cause it's a
probably have a lot
bombshell.
of questions. My mom would be like, "What do you mean you're
Yeah,
having
no,
sex?
that's-
Like, what do you mean?
I
Like,
guess-
Why would you say that?
Especially since they know Andy. Like, it's not like just someone they don't know.
I guess Claire would be shocked enough to not say anything.
Yeah.
My mom would have. I would be answering questions till I was 21.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It was odd. Good
that-
question.
That was different. I was just like, whoa, that's awkward. So, do you guys have anything else to say about the episode before we
don't
move
think
into
so.
news?
Yeah,
and
it was a good
gossip?
episode.
Yeah.
Fun
It was a
times.
good episode.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. It's hard to like stay on like these exact topics because it's more humor. Like
Yeah.
I thought we were just laughing the whole show.
Yeah,
I thought that
it
was fun.
funny.
But I would like to see more episodes like this.
Me too.
Yeah.
We had a good flow.
So
Agreed.
Let's
News
move
and
into news
gossip.
and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right. Ty Burrell, who plays Phil Dunphy on this show, he just signed an overall deal with 20th Century Fox TV this week. It's the studio. It's the studio that's also behind Modern Family, and under the pact, he'll co-create and write comedy projects as well as develop shows from other writers. The deal is strictly for writing and producing, as he continues to be executive producer of Modern Family and also act in it. So
That's awesome.
good for Ty Burrell.
him.
Yeah.
He's a really funny guy.
So funny.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's one of those good, wholehearted actors that like you never hear anything bad about, only positive, like hard worker,
And
funny.
he seems like he just loves what he does
Yeah,
and appreciates it.
yeah.
very much. Because I remember the first thing I'd ever seen him in was the Dawn of the Dead remake. and he just played like the a-hole guy in that Dawn of the Dead movie, and he just played it to a T. And for him to be able to be a TV dad after that, pretty awesome.
Yeah, it really is. So I wonder what he's gonna do like with this.
Excited.
I know.
He's gonna get a slew of shows, hopefully involving Muppets. You can get some Muppets on there. Just saying, they haven't had a show since Muppets Tonight. That's all I got.
All right, guys. Do y'all have any more news and gossip?
No, I heard about that too, but that was it.
Let's move on to predictions.
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
The lights in the back always do it.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess I was never looking at that vantage point.
I'm gonna stick to my same prediction about, he's gonna propose to Beth, but then like Haley's input's gonna be on it, and then they're gonna get closer, and then I think he's gonna propose to Haley.
Okay. I think that, I hope we see Beth. I'd really like to see Beth. And the Alex getting a boyfriend thing, I'm also all for that.
Yes.
And so,
The neighbor. We didn't see the neighbor.
Yeah, and I think next week is the Thanksgiving episode because I think it's called 3 Turkeys. I read it on the wiki, I think. And
She stole my prediction.
yeah, but I think the neighbors are going to come back for that episode. So
Absolutely.
that was what I was thinking.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I predict it'll be Thanksgiving next. That's all I
I
had.
love Thanksgiving episodes. I'm so excited.
I actually think Alex is going to have 2 boyfriends in this series. She's going to have her neighbor, and she's also going to have the boy from the college.
Okay,
Two boyfriends this season.
Which are total opposites.
It's a solid prediction.
Right.
Yeah, like what if Alex went from being just no boyfriends to juggling guys? That'd be funny to see.
And then like asking Haley for advice.
Yeah, like 2 guys like me. What do I do?
That'd be neat, considering she's never had any guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'd be like a good thing for her.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'd be fun to watch.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, and also, guys, go on YouTube, iTunes, rate us, give us 5 stars if you like us, give us your comments. We love your feedback, even when it's mean. All right, guys. So, is that everything?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right.
We hope you like this episode as much as
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah. See you next week, guys. Where can we find you?
Okay, you can find me on, I'm sorry,
No, that's
Instagram and Twitter at Britta_Garsow.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Carli_Garsow.
you can find me on just Twitter. I don't have an Instagram at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Jessie Owen. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.